Number 10. Adam Levine. This is an impression of Adam Levine smelling something good. Oh, yeah, You don't have to put that in the video, I just wanted to get that out of my system. This past September, the Maroon 5 singer was accused of partaking in an affair with a woman named Sumner Stroh. Adam had apparently reached out to the TikTok star to ask about using her name for his new daughter. Nah, that's just the tamest thing he said. What he actually typed was a series of promiscuous messages that heavily implied that he was a cheater, pumpkin eater. She then showed screenshots from his account in which Adam had comments on her physical appearance, telling her how much he cared for her, and yes, he asks this woman that he is having an affair with if it'd be cool to name his newborn after her. That would be like Donald Trump going, hey, this is my new son, Stormy Trump. Adam tried to deny the allegations, but the proof was too strong. Only a few days following Sumner's posting on TikTok, several women came forward to also accuse Adam of cheating on his wife, sharing screenshots and DMs sent by Adam to their accounts. Despite his wife being upset, they were actually able to patch things up, but their kid's name most certainly is not, nor will it ever be, Sumner. Who the heck put the letter N in summer? Just saying, that's stupid, that's silly. Number 9. Jonah Hill. Unfortunately, it would appear that the once funny man turned Oscar nominee is actually a jerk. Recently, a news article broke thanks to his ex-girlfriend Sarah Bradley, showing evidence that Jonah was emotionally damaging towards her during their relationship. The couple first got together in 2021, meeting on the beach as she was a surf instructor. According to a series of texts between Sarah and Jonah, it's obvious that he is very mentally manipulative. He tells Sarah to remove any photos of herself surfing from Instagram that showed her bum in a thong, and when she did that, he told her that it was a good start, but that she didn't really seem to get her point. He was being very manipulative, saying that, he made his boundaries clear, that she refused to let any of them, sink into her head. He was basically claiming that she didn't hear anything he was saying, but what he was saying was just complete trash. In another screenshot, Jonah showcased his plans and his simple conditions for maintaining their relationship, including stating that he didn't want Sarah surfing with men, which is like half of her job. He wrote a massive list of boundaries and rules that were clearly him trying to control everything that Sarah did. At one point, literally saying that she can't post pictures of herself in a bathing suit. Okay, cool, what's she supposed to wear to the beach then, man? Nothing? Alright, birthday suit it is. Sorry for anyone hoping for that 23 Jump Street movie. Jonah Hill is officially being cancelled. Number 8. Nicki Minaj. Nicki has been pegged as an opinionated woman for a long time. Throughout most of her career, Nicki has been unable to keep her opinions to herself. She called out fellow musician Miley Cyrus during her hosting gig at the 2015 MTV Music Video Awards. She's taken a swing at Cardi B, and she officially exposed herself as mean and dumb when she decided to express her opinions on the events of 2020 online. You see, Nicki was one of the many people in the world who were under the impression that the world's top doctors are just trying to microchip us with medicine. She joined the massive online debate after contracting the cold vid and being forced to miss out on the Met Gala, calling the event controlled. Apparently, you needed proof of the jab to get in, and Nicki did not get the jab. She was afraid too after her cousin had supposedly become impotent following his jab. Because yes, the government's goal is to microchip us and take away our ability to have kids. They already did that. If you ever have a cell phone in your pocket, it's kind of the same thing. It's a listening device, a baby stopper, and a computer all in one. Needless to say, this was the last straw for many fans who called her actions ridiculous and misguided and have officially weaned her out of their lives. Number 7. Taylor Swift. Taylor's tyranny of torment must end now. Taylor Swift has made a name for herself as a person who thrives on the ending of a relationship. Since the late 2000s, Taylor has been making millions in the music industry. Her songs like Love Story and 22 are anthems to many. The catchy tunes tend to come from a place of so-called heartache, however. Taylor has thanked her exes on several occasions for inspiring the songs that made her who she is today. People like Tom Hiddleston, Harry Styles, Jake Gyllenhaal, they've all had a part to play in the inception of some pretty solid bops. The argument can and should be made that Taylor needs to just relax though. She's made several songs that were good without the need to berate an ex, and some of these songs are pretty revealing. Imagine if after every breakup you've ever had, a song popped up on your phone by U2 that was called Why They Left You. Remember when U2 tried to jam their music into our ears? That wasn't fun. Recently it was announced that Taylor had gotten together and split up with the 1975 frontman Matt Healy. While people were just surprised that these two were even together in the first place, the truth was revealed. Not only does she have terrible taste in men, but she's actually just really mean. Taylor has apparently been bashing Maddie for months and only using him as a way for her to boost her power. It's not confirmed that she is mean yet, like she hasn't come out and actually called anyone names on camera, but come on, we all know, Tay-Tay, we know who you are. Number 6, John Mayer. The new light singer who burst onto the music scene with 2001's Room for Squares quickly became known amongst the world of late night television as a man who loved to hear his own voice, meaning that he will not stop talking once you let him go. Because of this, his filter seems to just shut down the moment that he speaks, because over the years, John has been known to exhibit toxic behavior. He has spewed several racist remarks, and he has been accused of cultural appropriation. In 2010, he said a lot of creepy and misogynistic things in an interview with Rolling Stones, but that was just the start. You see, by 2023, it was revealed by none other than his ex, Jessica Simpson, that he was a truly manipulative and toxic dude. When she called out John for his mistreatment during their relationship, several big-name former lovers came forward to share their stories. By the end of this past winter, John had officially joined the list of canceled artists in Hollywood history, as nobody was buying the whole "hey, your mom's gonna love me" thing that he had going on. Now it's more like an "I'm dating your mom" kind of vibe. Number 5, Marilyn Manson. Alright now, I know sometimes we here at BTS like to judge books by their covers, but can we agree that this book's cover has all the information you need on it? Marilyn Manson, who looks like Johnny Depp and a Muppet had a baby, was a very famous musician before his true nature was revealed. In 2021, Westworld star Evan Rachel Wood named Marilyn Manson as the man who had allegedly attempted to force himself on her. She shared the truth via Instagram, claiming that she wished to share the information before he was able to cause harm to anybody else. According to Evan, Marilyn had been in her life since she was 18 and he was 36. Their friendship turned to relationship and they were briefly married in 2010. Marilyn tried to deny these situations ever taking place, but a massive number of other women came forward to share their experiences with Marilyn over the years. This culminating in some truly terrible things that I am not gonna get into right now. Thanks to Evan's pursuit of the truth, which took nearly 4 years to see through, Marilyn was eventually taken down. Between 2021 and this year, over 15 women have come forward to back up Evan's claims and canceled this demon man for good. Good God, he's horrifying to look at. Number 4, Will Smith. In 2022, Chris Rock was hosting the 94th annual Oscar ceremony when he decided to make a joke about Jada Pinkett Smith. Rock expressed his excitement to see her in a fictional G.I. Jane movie, which in the grand scheme of comedy is not that mean. Clearly this dude's never seen a single celebrity roast in his life. Immediately following the joke, Rock stood on the stage in confusion because Will Smith made his way up there and he suddenly just slapped Chris across the face. Now first this was seen as a joke, but quickly proven to be a real reaction thanks to Will screaming at him from his comfy chair. The night was ruined, and to make things worse, an hour later Will Smith won the Oscar for Best Actor in a Leading Role. During his speech he gave a half-hearted apology for his actions before claiming that the situation was due to his months of portraying the father in King Richard on set, leaving him with an extreme paternal sense to protect his family. Yeah, that's not a good excuse. "Oh, I'm sorry I ended this guy's life. I've been pretending to be Freddy Krueger for 6 months. It's not my fault." By the time February 2023 rolled around, his career had officially been canceled, along with his wife, who was also exposed as a manipulative and overall just strange woman. But we've got a whole series on Jada on this channel, so if you want to see that, check it out. Number 3, Chris Pratt. It's a him, Mario. For some reason, Chris Pratt has had a massively successful career since first starring as the lovable Andy Dwyer on the hit mockumentary series Parks and Recreation. Since then, he starred in blockbuster giants like the Jurassic Park trilogy, the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and yes, he is now the voice of Mario for some reason. I don't know, I don't get it, it doesn't work well. This guy is unstoppable, but hopefully that's not true. You see, Chris was almost a part of the Me Too movement, but he somehow escaped our radars. In 2023, he was involved with an organization called the Hillsong Church. This megachurch is known for being notoriously anti-LGBTQ+, and at one point their church's former leader Brian Houston actually went out into the public and shared their beliefs with the world. And could you imagine it? He got torn to shreds. You know, metaphorically speaking. Gosh, I wish it was physical. While it was only ever rumored that Chris was involved with the controversial group, it was confirmed by his ex-wife and fellow actor Anna Faris that he certainly wasn't against their beliefs. According to her, Chris denied ever being a part of that church until 2022, when they were no longer as as powerful and he could simply claim ignorance. While Chris is still going strong in Hollywood, the truth will soon be revealed and Chris is certainly going to land himself on the long list of canceled A-listers. Number 2. Alec Baldwin. The star of films like Glengarry Glen Ross and Cat in the Hat, sorry, it's Twitch when I talk about that movie, Alec has been in a number of successful projects, but he recently was under fire after the accidental slaying of a crew member on set of his new film. He may be happy-go-lucky on set, but in reality it turns out that Alec is just one of the meanest people in the bunch. In 2007, Alec directed his hot temper at his daughter Ireland, who he had with his ex-wife Kim Basinger, in a now infamous voicemail that would reveal the usually mild-mannered, soft-spoken man was secretly just angry all the time. TMZ obtained the audio of the message to Ireland in which Alec just screams. He says, "You are a rude, thoughtless pig. You don't have the brains or decency to be a human being. I don't care if you're a child or that your mother is a thoughtless pain in the butt." It was an incident in 2022 that landed him on this list. Following the accidental slaying of the cinematographer, Baldwin denied several public appearances that was apparently due to him being unable to hold back his annoyance and frustration long enough to seem empathetic to the victims of the family. He's currently awaiting trial, so who knows, maybe he'll be on a future list of celebrities in jail. Number 1. Mariah Carey. Mariah may echo in your skull around the holiday seasons, but according to most, you should really keep that space in your head reserved for another Christmas time song singer. Bubbly anyone? Mariah has been known to be a bit of a diva over the years, apparently making outlandish requests and taking part in some truly strange moments. For instance, when giving birth to her children, Mariah had the doctors play a live version of her song Fantasy, so that her voice was the first thing that they heard in the world. Okay. Unfortunately, the playlist was on shuffle and they instead listened to Bird is the Word. Everybody say it, a bird is the word. No, I'm just kidding. That would have been fun though, but it probably would have scarred them for life. She's walked out of presidential events because she wasn't the center of attention. She makes people speak to her via a whiteboard the night before a performance just to keep her voice clean, and literally makes someone roll out a red carpet for her as she walks out of vehicles at events. Like that lady from Guardians of the Galaxy. It's literally just someone's job all day to walk around Mariah being like, I'm sorry. In 2023, she was officially exposed by a former assistant who claims that working for Mariah was one of the most difficult things that she had endured in her entire life. She is currently classified as a diva, but needs to be classified as canceled. All I want for Christmas is a new song to love for the love of God. Number 10. Chris Pratt. Chris may have been spending the past few years guarding the galaxy from cosmic threats in the MCU, but his reputation as a person has been anything but heroic. According to several of his co-stars and former lovers, Chris has a massive ego that tends to get him in rough situations. A few years ago, he made a comment claiming that the average blue-collar American was not necessarily represented in Hollywood anymore, which, like, no, they do. They just tend to be the secondary characters now because white dudes from Minnesota have had their time. And to top it off, let's talk about the Hillsong Church. Now, I respect everyone's right to their own beliefs and places of worship. However, the Hillsong Church is famously anti-LGBTQ+, and is known to be a frequent spot for Hollywood A-listers like Justin Bieber and Kourtney Kardashian. He has continued to attend this church to this day, begging many to question if this third Guardians movie might be his last. Number 9. Mads Mikkelsen. Mads Mikkelsen is another Marvel man on this list, portraying the villain Kai Silius in 2017's Doctor Strange. This man has portrayed many characters over the years in everything from Harry Potter to Hannibal. This man is a force to be reckoned with, and apparently that applies to his on-set persona as well as on screen. You see, he has admitted in interviews over the years that he can be a bit intense to work with, and by intense, I mean demanding. According to himself, when he's really passionate about a project, he will ask a million questions and he's not gonna stop until he gets answers. He went on to say that some directors he has worked with tend to be in their own heads on set, and he has to like shake them free from time to time. He's literally called people in the middle of the night because there's something on his mind involving the next shoot day and he just can't wait to get it out. At least this is one of those Disney actors who knows that he can be a pain and a little bit invasive. Like, I'm not sure how I would feel if Mads Mikkelsen called me in the middle of the night. I might have a heart attack, actually. That sounds terrifying. Number 8. Jonathan Majors. Jonathan's acting career skyrocketed after the success of his HBO series Lovecraft Country, but he's been popping up in movies left and right since the mid-2010s. In 2021, it was revealed that Majors would be portraying the character Kang the Conqueror in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, a character who is essentially the next big bad of the franchise. His first time playing the character in the show Loki was very well received, and fans were excited to see what he was going to bring to the table in the third installment of the Ant-Man franchise, Quantumania. Unfortunately, about 3 months before that movie came out, which is just bad in general, Majors made headlines after he was accused of mistreating several of his ex-girlfriends and was ultimately arrested. His PR team maintained that he was innocent and were surely going to find the evidence that proved the women were making everything up. Yeah, following the arrest and that statement, he was dropped by his talent management company, and eventually his PR team had to cave and let him loose as well. Majors had already finished filming his scenes for Ant-Man, so the movie was released as scheduled, but whether it was the negative press surrounding the movie or just everybody drinking goo the whole time, that movie bombed at the box office, meaning that his last role may be in a trashy trash bag movie. Number 7. Jared Leto. Jared just cemented himself in the world of Disney, starring as the main antagonist of the new Haunted Mansion film, playing a character known as Hatbox Ghost. The movie not only has poor reviews so far, but Jared's character himself is just not scary. He looks like a cartoon caricature of something that's supposed to be scary. Unfortunately for everyone on set, Jared likes to get method when he's filming, no matter how small the role. So his time on set as a ghost was not that fun. In fact, most of the main ensemble cast have boasted about how fun the project was working together, but Jared was actually kept separate from the main actors and filmed his scenes on a separate soundstage. Jared has a long history with people of being terrible on set, to his co-stars from the Suicide Squad to the Haunted Mansion. He has just been an absolute menace towards everybody, leaving them animal parts, ignoring them, or just straight up snapping at people because they dare speak to him outside of his character. He may be a new addition to Disney's list of usable actors, but he's probably gonna find himself on Disney's blacklist very soon. Number 6. Vin Diesel. In case you were unaware, the Fast and Furious star has been lending his voice to the lovable tree monster Groot from Disney's Guardians of the Galaxy franchise. This year, the third installment was released, and Vin was actually given something other than "I am Groot" to say. Family! No, that's not what it was, but it would have been a nice troll from Disney. Vin may be loved in his franchise, but sometimes on set and in real life, he can be a bit of a pain in the bum. Not only is he a cheater and a reportedly difficult man to work with on set, but he's also known to have meetings and shoot times literally moved to accommodate his party lifestyle. When he's on set, he's been known to criticize cast and crew. In fact, his Fast and Furious co-star Charlize Theron went on record and said that she absolutely hated working with Vin Diesel. He wasn't friendly or even polite to her at any point, and he would even boss her around on set. Thankfully for Disney, all they have to do with him now is open a sound booth and toss him in. But he's a Disney actor and he's on our meanie list. Number 5. Bill Murray. Bill Murray had a pretty stellar career up until the past year. The man behind some incredible movies like Caddyshack and Ghostbusters has secretly been a menace to women on set several times throughout his career. In February of this year, Bill returned to the world of Disney when he starred as Krylar in the third installment of the Ant-Man and the Wasp franchise, which is looking like it might be his final film role ever thanks to the revelation of his misconduct over the years. Now, several female crew members have called out Bill's behavior over the past few years, with one woman claiming that he paid her $100,000 as a settlement because the woman was claiming that he had straddled her on set of his most recent film, Being Mortal, which was supposed to be comedian Aziz Ansari's directorial debut, but thanks to Murray being a jerk, the entire thing has been put on pause and is probably going to be either reshot or shelved entirely. Number 4. Brie Larson. Brie was announced as the newest member of the Marvel Universe in 2019, starring in the film Captain Marvel as the titular superhero. At first, people were pretty excited to see what Marvel would do with the property. Captain Marvel is one of the original cosmic heroes in the comic book canon. I know I'm a nerd, leave me alone! However, when the movie was actually released, fans were upset with Brie's performance. According to them, she was stale and seemed bored from start to finish. When asked about the online hate at D23 in 2022, Brie said that she's not sure if she would continue to play the character beyond her upcoming Captain Marvel sequel, The Marvels. She's aware of all the hate surrounding her character and defends that role by telling people that's how she was told to play the role. But also, it's Brie Larson. She's always been stiff, but that's part of why it's funny. Go watch Scott Pilgrim, you ninnies! Overall, she doesn't sound as terrible as some of the other entries on this list, but the way she's responded to people in interviews in the past few years has unfortunately pegged her as a Miss Marvel meanie. Number 3. Miley Cyrus. So, fun fact, Miley Cyrus actually did do some voiceover work in the latest entry of the Guardians of the Galaxy franchise as a floating robot head named Mainframe, marking a small return to the world of Disney, which is why we can talk about her on this list. Miley was once Disney's go-to girl. Hannah Montana was a massive success, and she was set to have a long, fruitful career in the music industry. Unfortunately, her attitude behind the scenes landed her in a weird in-between space where she was mean to her fellow Disney peeps, but she was being herself and people didn't want to be like, hey, stop being comfortable in your own skin, you jerk. She had created a whole new image and a whole new dance move that I still can't do. Unfortunately, for a brief period, all that popularity went to her head, and according to several of her friends and family, she was a nightmare to say the least. While she may have grown tamer over the years, we will never forget how hard she licked that sledgehammer. I can taste it just talking about it. Number 2, Demi Lovato. Demi Lovato is a former Disney star who suffered from a pretty rough upbringing, with both her parents being either intoxicated or just straight up gone her entire life. That seems to have had a part to play in the way that Demi goes about her everyday life. Unfortunately, several fans and fellow artists have called Demi out for being such a pain in the butt over the years. At one point, she started an on-again, off-again feud with pop singer Taylor Swift and fellow Disney star Selena Gomez. In 2016, Taylor donated $250,000 to pop singer Kesha to aid in her legal battles against a mega hit producer named Dr. Luke. So, because Taylor is wealthy and is able to help her fellow artists, Demi decided to call her out and reminded her that she didn't have that kind of cash to just give people, which makes me think that she gave Kesha like 20 bucks and is just jealous that Taylor gave her more. She's also threw some shade at Nicki Minaj for simply existing on the same red carpet as her a few years ago. The two had been glaring at each other all night, and Demi is not one to shy away from her opinions on the industry and claimed that Minaj was being fake and plastic towards her. She wanted nothing to do with that kind of attitude. Basically, she got mad at Nicki Minaj for posting a photo and didn't tag her in it. So hey, if you get mad at someone when you see a post that you're in and they don't, tag you and you're mad at them, go get some help. You might need a therapist. Just maybe. Number 1, Lindsay Lohan. Lindsay is another former Disney star who recently made a return to the acting world thanks to a little Christmas movie released on Netflix. She got her big break when she was casted to play 2 roles in the classic movie The Parent Trap, where she played twin sisters Hallie and Annie, who randomly meet at a summer camp and discover their parents split them up when they were babies following a divorce. They hatch a plot to get mom and dad back together, and it's delightful. Her career only seemed to be rising from there, starring in several cult classics like Freaky Friday with Jamie Lee Curtis or Mean Girls as the main character Katie. Unfortunately, her career took a step in the wrong direction when she was arrested in 2007 for driving under the influence of a controlled substance, for which she only served 84 minutes in jail. Yep, minutes. Until 2022, her career was at an abrupt standstill, but she not only seems to be better mentally speaking, but is under contract with the streaming giant Netflix to release a few more rom-com flicks over the next couple of years, so maybe her and Adam Sandler can make a Netflix multiverse. I'm kinda into that idea. That sounds kinda fun. Number 10, Ezra Miller. Ezra Miller has been on the acting scene since 2008, first appearing in films such as After School and Perks of Being a Wallflower. They seemed like a normal functioning member of society until 2019, when cast and crew started noticing some odd behavior from the actor. Their attitude on set shifted from being happy to be here to, I'm better than you gotta deal with that. They would often wear capes or robes on set that were never actually a part of their wardrobe and reportedly were filled with scattered thoughts and motivations both on screen and off. In 2020, a video surfaced of Miller in a violent altercation outside of a bar in Iceland, which would be the first of many videos showcasing the actor's misdeeds, eventually leading to Miller breaking and entering into somebody's house in Hawaii of all places. Guess they were just a little bit chilly and needed to get a blanket or something, I'm not sure. Miller then went on the run from Hawaiian authorities for a little bit over a week, supposedly squatting in abandoned buildings and sleeping on the beach. They were eventually caught and charged with breaking and entering, as well as aggravated swatting, as Miller had apparently gotten into a fist fight before breaking into the house. Hey, 2 birds, 1 stone. Their behavior on set branded them as odd at first, but that combined with their now several public arrests has landed them on the thinnest ice possible, only having their solo flick The Flash be released because hey, it's actually a good movie. Too bad for Ezra, they'll probably get recasted in the next one. Number 9, Morgan Freeman. The voice of God himself, Morgan Freeman, has been a soothing soul for many, many years. To this day, families can still hear Morgan narrate the world around them in an immersive 360 IMAX experience at the Science Center in Toronto. They didn't pay for me to do that, you just can't. He may be a comfort to some, but according to a few women, Morgan is their nightmare. Morgan has been accused of inappropriate behavior on multiple occasions between 1991 and 2015. According to one production assistant from the film Going in Style, which is a bank heist movie starring Freeman, Michael Caine, and Alan Arkin, Freeman subjected her to unwanted touching and comments about her figure and clothing on a near daily basis. Gentlemen, lend me your ear. This move is rarely received well, and you better listen to me now. Don't have a move, just be yourself. It's a lot easier. Walk up, say hi, people like that. According to her, in one instance, Freeman attempted to lift her skirt and asked to see her underclothes. She was not the only one to speak out, actually. A senior member of the production staff on the movie, Now You See Me Too, told CNN that Freeman harassed her and her female assistant on numerous occasions, making similar comments on figuring clothes. Now, I could go on with more and more examples, but to save some time, I'll just boil it down to Morgan is creepy, and I'm sorry to say, but he needs to retire as soon as possible. Number 8. Jon Hamm. The Madman star doesn't just look like a typical college jock, he actually was one in the early 90s. Jon took part in a violent hazing incident at the University of Texas in 1991 that led to him receiving criminal charges. The lawsuit was filed by a member of the Fraternal Society organization who claims to have been severely injured, dragged by a hammer, and had his pants lit on fire. The person also claims that Jon was involved until, quote, the very end. Criminal records show that Jon was charged for this incident at the time, receiving probation and an official charge of hazing. He participated in all the classic activities, some good, but mostly just downright degrading. While this took place way back when, Jon's roles combined with his supposed cold shoulder default towards his fellow co-stars has landed him on the list of the meaniest bobeediest. Number 7. Mike Myers. He's Canadian. He's a comedian. How could this guy be a meanie? Well, it turns out that's his default setting. Mike may be well known in the world of Hollywood as a funny man, but to his fans and fellow actors, he's known as a short-tempered madman. One experience was shared with a media outlet called Mean Stars, in which a fan told a story of running into Mike at a bar, with that experience being as disastrous as the Love Guru. Like anything could be so bad. The fan walked up and told Mike that he was a big fan and just he wanted to offer to buy him a drink. And Mike replied, well, I can afford my own drinks, you a-hole. Save your cash for my next movie. There are several instances, both on and off set, showcasing his difficulty working with people. His Cat in the Hat co-stars, for instance, sorry, I just get weird flashbacks when I talk about that movie. His co-star Amy Hill, there we go, claimed that he had handlers dress his entire trailer and his work area was entirely covered with tenting because he just didn't want anybody to physically see him. Probably because he was so ashamed to be in that movie. Maybe his reputation as a difficult Donnie has something to do with Hollywood seemingly blacklisting him from appearing as a lead in anything until his recent show The Pentaveret aired on Netflix, a show where he was forced to play half of the cast because he couldn't get more people to work with him. Maybe it has something to do with the Love Guru. Just maybe. It does, it definitely does. Number 6, Jonah Hill. It would appear that the once funny man turned Oscar nominee is secretly a jerk. Recently, a news article broke thanks to his ex-girlfriend Sarah Bradley, showing evidence that Jonah was emotionally damaging towards her during their relationship. The couple first got together in 2021, meeting on the beach as she was a surf instructor. You see, according to a series of texts between Sarah and Jonah, it's very obvious that he is mentally manipulative towards her. He tells Sarah to remove any photos of herself surfing from Instagram that showed her bum in a thong. Now, when she did that, he told her that it was a good start, but that she didn't seem to get his point. He then told her, it's not my place to teach you, I've made my boundaries clear, you refuse to let go of some of them, and you've made that clear, and I hope that makes you happy. Little wordy there, Jonah, it could have just said, hey, I said something and you didn't do it. In another screenshot, Jonah made his plans and simple conditions for maintaining their relationship known, including stating that he didn't want Sarah surfing with men, which was, like part of her job. He wrote a massive list of boundaries and rules that were clearly him trying to control everything that Sarah did. One point literally saying that she can't post pictures of herself in a bathing suit. Like what she's supposed to wear to the beach, a turtleneck? Not only is this proof that Jonah is a bad guy, but it may be the first step towards his official cancellation, so sorry to anybody hoping for that 21 Jump Street movie we've all been waiting for. I know I'm upset. Number 5, Shia LaBeouf. Shia was one of Disney's best and brightest in the early 2000s. His TV show The Even Stevens was #1 with audience members, his movie Holes is still considered to be a classic, and his career to the mainstream was launched when he played Sam Witwicky in the first live-action Transformers movie. But it seems like acting next to fake robots all day might have driven him a little bit insane. Following the success of the film, he was being casted in things, but the people on set would quickly regret those decisions. You see, in the movie Fury, released in 2014, Shia played one of the 5 main tank soldiers stuck behind enemy lines. To stay in character, he did not bathe for 3 months. Everyone in the tank was on the verge of gagging constantly. If that's not bad enough, his random and wild antics over the years are not only considered to be rude, but they're just downright odd. Who could forget his famous "Do It" monologue presented by Nike? Or his weird Shia LaBeouf music video on YouTube that is somehow surprisingly catchy. It's very good. Despite his antics, producers are still giving him money to fund passion projects when they should really just cut this guy off from his piggy bank already. Number 4, Christian Bale. Passion, rage, somehow these two things are often combined or mistaken for each other. In Christian's case, he's a bit of both. First instance of his possible aggression came from the 2009 Terminator Salvation, when an audio clip was leaked of Christian yelling at a cinematographer named Shane Hurlbut, who had apparently distracted the actor during a scene. He later apologized for the outburst, calling his actions out of order and himself a punk. While another on-set outburst like that has not happened yet, the rumor is that Christian is a bit of a stickler on set these days. He now demands that nobody move before an important scene, and he'll occasionally stop the director when they're addressing the crew to inform people of his needs for the day. He's currently not set to star in any movies, along with everyone else in Hollywood, because hey, everybody's on strike! Pay your people, Hollywood! Number 3, Jared Leto. Jared Leto is an interesting fellow. He started his own religious group, he brings a new meaning to the word method acting, and let's face it, this guy sucks. Over the past few years, reports from Jared's fellow actors have been just terrible. They don't like this guy at all. During his time as the Joker, he left his fellow castmates some used adult devices, pig heads, live animals in their trailers. All of these were so-called gifts, but anyone who actually received these gifts just probably threw them out or, had to call animal control because there was a snake in their bed. On top of that, he's been known to stay in character when he's on set, meaning that if he's playing someone angry or silent, that's just how he's gonna be the whole time. This guy hasn't really been questioned for his actions at any point. We just kind of look at him and go, oh, look at that weirdo being himself, let him go. When the reality is that Jared is stuck so far up his own behind, he doesn't even seem to realize how mean he's actually being. He snubs his fellow actors and he selfishly brings chaos to the set. That's hella mean. With his career still well on the rise, here's hoping that Jared will eventually be called out for good and added to the Hollywood list of canceled nutcases. Number 2, Edward Norton. Any fans of the Knives Out series on Netflix surely recognize this man from its most recent entry, Glass Onion, as the one who wants to turn your home into the Hindenburg. In 2008, Edward starred as the leading man in Marvel's first attempt at bringing the Hulk to Disney, The Incredible Hulk. The film wasn't bad, and Edward's performance was actually considered to be very solid, which is why everyone was so confused when Mark Ruffalo popped up as the greenie meanie in purple pants. The reason being, Edward's just a little bit demanding. When he was asked to sign a multi-film deal with Marvel, he asked for a significant pay increase that literally none of the other actors were getting. In fact, most of the Avengers had relatively average paychecks so that more money could be put towards the project. When Marvel denied his request, the decision was made to bring a new actor into the fold and replace Norton entirely. The same thing they did with Terrence Howard in Iron Man 2 by replacing him with Don Cheadle. Edward had been asked to participate in the films Birdman and Moonrise Kingdom around the same time and decided that he'd rather do these more artistic projects rather than another loud, action-packed Marvel movie. According to producers, he's still very specific on what he wants and how he wants it. For instance, he must have M&Ms, but no green ones though. They'll set him off. Number 1, Tom Cruise. While Tom may be an action movie star and was once a young Hollywood heartthrob, he's had a massive temper since day one. First of all, according to both former assistants as well as several co-stars from his past, he is a regular toddler and throws tantrums, being set off by the littlest thing. His former manager, Eileen Berlin, presented him with a gift on his 19th birthday. It was like a bunch of Teen Bop magazine articles. She just wanted to show him how proud she was of him. And to respond to that, he took that book, threw it back in her face, and said, "I'm an adult." Another example of Tom's aggression was on display during the filming of his recent Top Gun sequel, Maverick. During that time, Tom and the rest of the film crew were tasked to shoot on an actual aircraft carrier that was still being used by the US military. One of the crew posted on Twitter calling out the audacity of Tom's behavior, saying that he was actually on their ship trying to tell them not to talk or even look at him. That's a military guy, Tom, and you're 5 feet tall. After a few choice words, the crewmate made it very clear that Tom was not welcome aboard their vessel. The more recent and public outburst, though, came came on set of his last Mission Impossible movie when audio footage was leaked of a confrontation between Tom and two crew members who had apparently not been following the rules that were on set in place at the time. Tom may still be making movies with that new Mission Impossible just coming out this past week, but it's looking more and more like Dead Reckoning Part 2 will be his reckoning. Yeah, that's it. That's a great way to end it. Those are the meanest actors in Hollywood. Who did we miss? Let us know in the comments below. If you stuck around to the end of this video, a Blu-ray copy of The Love Guru is on its way, and you cannot return it.